Hello everyone. Let me go over some questions in the problem set number 5. Start with number 2. What is risk premium of a stock that has expected return of 20%? Okay, and risk-free rate is or the rate of return on TBU is 3%. Alright, so the risk premium of any stock. Okay, risk premium of any stock, basically it is the extra return demanded by investor in order for investor to invest in the stock, okay, instead of investing in TBO. So it is equal to risky return minus the risk-free rate, IF. Okay, from now on I'm using IF, which is risk-free. Alright, risk-free rate. Usually we are using TBU. Okay, we are using TBU as the risk-free. The rate of TBU is the rate of risk-free security. Now, TBU rate is the minimum return that investor could earn. Alright, so if you don't take any risk, you will earn 3% return. So if you take any risk, you have to earn more return than 3%. So obviously for investor to invest in this stock, okay, the premium the investor demand has to be equal to 20%, which is the return of the stock, minus 3%, which is the return of TBU or the risk-free rate, equal to 17%. So for this stock, the premium is 17%. Okay. Now number 3, what is the effective annual return? So you know that the effective annual rate, EAR, is equal to 1 plus the APR, which is a simple rate, okay, divided by M raised to the power M minus 1, where M is the number of compounding period per year. So in this case, it is semi-annually compounded, so M is equal to 2. So it is 1 plus APR, which is 10% over 2 raised to the power 2 minus 1, and this is equal to 10.25%. okay, so the simple rate is 10%, but the rate you actually earn is 10.25%. Now number 4, you purchase 100 shares of ABC stock for $20. Alright, so you buy stock at $20 per share. 1 year later, you receive dividend. You will receive $1 dividend. Alright, and you sold for 22. Excuse me. So you sold the stock for 22, and you received dollar dividend during the year is dividend equal to $1. Alright, so obviously your holding period return is the $1 dividend plus the capital gain, which is 22 minus 20 divided by 20, and this is equal to 15%. Alright. Now, geometric return, the formula to calculate geometric return, RG, is equal to 1 plus 1 times all the way to 1 plus n raised to the power, the whole thing raised to the power 1 over n minus 1. So in this example, okay, n is equal to 4, so RG is equal to 1 plus 0.1, okay, times 1 minus 0.2 times 1 minus 0.1, alright, times 1 plus 0.2, alright, the whole thing raised to the power 1 over 4 and minus 1, and you get the answer is negative 126%. Now, so what does it mean, negative 126%? Right, let me use some more space in here. Right, so I think Alright, so you have RG, okay, you have RG equal to basically negative 1.26%. So what it means is negative 126% represents the return every year. Okay, so what it means is you have 4 years, alright, I have 4 years, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Right? So the first year you earn 10%. The second year you earn negative 20. Right? The third year you lose negative 10, and the last year you earn 20. So it is the same as you earn basically negative 126% every year. Okay, 1, 2, 3. You have 4 years. Okay, so instead of earning 10, negative 20, negative 10, and 20, now it is the same as you earn negative 126, negative 126, negative 126, negative 126% every year. Okay, so that is the meaning of geometric return. That is a return that represents the return every year. Alright, so let's go to number 6. What is the sample standard deviation? Alright, you remember standard deviation tell you how much the values deviate from the mean. Alright, so what is the formula to get the standard deviation? First you calculate the average return. Alright, first you calculate the average return. So alright, so the average return, or the R bar, is equal to 18, alright, minus 15 minus 10 plus 30 over 4, and this is equal to 575. Alright, and after that you get the variance. Okay, variance basically equal to, alright, open bracket, R1 minus average square plus R2 minus average square plus all the way, plus all the way to the last one, which is Rn minus average square. And the whole thing times, right, the whole thing times 1 over n minus 1. 1 over n minus 1. Alright, so in our example here, so you have n over here is equal to 4. So you have the variance will be equal to 1 over 4 minus 1. Alright, n minus 1. And the whole thing is multiplied with R1, which is 18. Alright, 18 minus minus 575, square, plus negative 15 minus 575 square. You can use decimal, or you can keep the whole thing like I'm doing here over here. It is the same. The final answer is the same. Plus negative 10 minus 575 square plus 30 minus 575 square. Alright, close this bracket, multiply with 1 over 4 minus 1, which is 1 over 3. Alright, so whatever you get over here, after you get the variance, I don't know how much is the variance, you can use the calculator to get that. And after you get the variance, you take the square root. Square root of the variance is equal to 21.7%. So after you get the variance in here, you take square root, you get standard deviation is 21.7. Now number 7, what is the ending price? If the beginning price is 20 and the cash dividend D1 is equal to 2, and you are looking for the P1. Alright, so you know that the return is 10%. So 10% or 0.1, alright, 0.1 is equal to $2 dividend plus capital gain, which is P1 minus 20 over initial price 20. Alright, so you solve this equation, you will get the price is $20. Now number 12, suppose you pay T-bill of $99.50 for first value $10,000. So usually T-bill is selling at a discount. So you buy at $99.50, and after how many months? After 1 month, you get back is $10,000. Alright, so what is the return per month? It is 10,000 minus 99.50 over 99.50. Alright, and this is equal 0.05025%. Okay. Now this is the return for 1 month, and if we want to know the effective annual rate, okay, it is 1 plus the monthly rate raised to the power 12. So EAR, okay, equal to 1 plus the monthly rate over here, which is 0.05, 0.05025%. Now you have to convert to percent. The whole thing raised to the power 12 minus 1, and you get is equal 6.2%. Okay, so 1 month you get about 0.05%. In 1 year, the actual rate is 6.2%. And it is same thing here, but it's only asking you for the APR. APR, it is simply equal to the monthly rate times the number of months per year, which is 12. Alright, so if the monthly rate is 0.0101, then the APR is simply equal to 12 times 0.0101. Alright. Number 14. Okay, and what is the expected return? Remember, the expected return is equal to the probability for the first outcome times the return in the first outcome, plus the probability in the second outcome times the return in the second outcome, and so on to the last outcome, PRN times IN. Alright, over here you have 3 outcomes. Okay, the first outcome 10%, probability 10%, and the return of 20. Second outcome is 60% probability with a return of 10%, and the next outcome is 30% with a return of -5, and you multiply together, you get 6.5%. Okay, 6.5 or 6.5%. Number 15. Alright, you know that for any investor, complete portfolio. Okay, complete portfolio, alright, is a combination of 2 things. One is T-bill, which is risk-free. Okay, the other one is risky. Okay, risky portfolio. Okay, risky portfolio P. Alright, so you have T-bill is RF. Alright, risky portfolio, you have ER, the return is ERP, and the standard deviation is sigma P. RF return is T-bill return is RF. Obviously, standard deviation of RF or T-bill is equal to 0. Okay, so the complete portfolio with the return is ERC, expected return, and the standard deviation for the complete portfolio is sigma C. So you have sigma C, you have ERC. Alright, so here is the relationship between the complete portfolio and oh no. Alright, let's use a pen again. So now the risky portfolio is sigma P. Okay, so if you invest Y% of your money into P, obviously the portion you invest in T-bill is 1 minus Y. Okay, so we have the following relationship. The complete portfolio ERC equal to Y times ERP, okay, plus 1 minus Y times RF. Alright, and the standard deviation is sigma C times Y times sigma P. Okay, so what it means is, if you know the return of the risky portfolio, you know the risk-free rate, and you know how many percent of your money invested in the portfolio P, you should be able to get the return for the overall portfolio for investor and the standard deviation. Now in this case, you are given the complete portfolio sigma C, okay, has standard deviation of 12%. Okay, so, and you know that the standard deviation of portfolio P is equal to 20%. Okay, so you should be using this formula to get how many portion, what is the proportion of complete portfolio invested in the risky portfolio. So sigma c, you have it is equal to 12%, alright, equal to y times sigma p, which is 20%. Okay, so you can easily get y equal to 12% over 20 and equal to 60%, 0.6. Alright, so so what it means is you should invest 60% in the portfolio P. Alright. Number 19 is similar to what we did before. Number 20, a treasury bill pays 6% rate. Okay, so in this case, a T-bill, okay, you get IF equal to 6%. Now because this is risk-free, so it is 100% guarantee. Alright, it is 100% guarantee. It is T-bill, no risk. So if the rate is 6%, 100% you will get 6%. But therefore the other portfolio, alright, you have to get expected return, which is 12% return, alright, times the probability 0.4 plus 2% times the probability 0.6. Okay, it also equal to 6%, but it's not guaranteed. Alright, obviously it's not guaranteed because you have standard deviation in here. Alright, so you have chance, you can get more than 6, you can get less than 6. On average you expect to get 6 only, but it's not guaranteed. But for the risk-free rate, you get 6%, but it's 100% guarantee. So if the investor is risk averse, meaning investor doesn't like risk, okay, so in order for this risk averse investor to take risk, this investor have to demand more return on the risky investment. So obviously over here the risky investment gives the same return as T-bill. So it doesn't make sense for the investor to take the risky investment. So the answer would be B, would not, because she should not rewarded any risk premium. The risk premium over here basically equal to 0. Alright, equal 6 minus 6 equal to 0. Number 21, similar to what we did before. Alright, you have ending price 26. Okay, beginning price we are looking for P 0, and you know the dividend is 1.5. Alright, so the return, okay, the return is equal to 0.3, and this is equal to, what is this, 26 minus P0 plus the dividend 1.5 divided by P0. Okay, so you solve this equation, you get 21.25. Now number 22, alright, you have $500,000 to invest. Okay, so your complete portfolio is a combination of T-bill or risk-free and the risky portfolio P. Alright, and the return over here, ERP, is equal to 16%. Alright, and the risk-free rate RF is equal to 8%. So if the portion you invest in P is Y, so the portion you invest in T-bill is 1 minus Y. So using the equation we had before, ERC, which is the return of the complete portfolio, equal to Y times ERP plus 1 minus Y times F. Alright, so ERC you want to earn 22%, equal Y times ERP, which is 16, plus 1 minus Y times F, okay, which is 8. So you solve the equation, alright. So let's say 22 equal to 16Y plus 8 minus 8Y. So you have 8Y equal to 22 minus 8 equal to 16Y minus 8Y, which is 8Y. So 14 equal to 8Y, Y equal to 14 minus 8, and equal to 175%, 175, which is equal to 175%. Okay, so what it means is the investor have to invest 175% of his money into the P, 175% times $500,000. Okay, which is equal to let me say which is equal to 875,000. Alright, so equal to $875,000. So you have to invest $875,000 into the portfolio P in order to get 22% return. But you have only 500,000. So where the rest is coming from? It's coming from borrowing. Okay. So you have 500,000, but you have to invest 875. So what it means is you have to borrow the remaining, which is $375,000. Okay. Alright, number 23, simple, we have done it. Alright, number 23, the price at the beginning of the year is 55, at the end of the year 53, you get $3 dividend. So the return is equal to $3 dividend plus 53 minus 55 over 55. Okay, and it is equal to 1.82%. Okay, now you are given two stock X and Y. All right, so what is the return of X? What is the return of Y? So obviously the expected return for X in here is a probability in the bear market 0.2 times the probability times the return of X in the bear market is negative 20. Plus 0.5, which is a probability in the normal market, times return 18% in the normal market, plus 30% in the bull market, so 0.3 times 50%, and the whole thing equals 20%. So what it means is if you invest in stock X, you expect about 20%. Do the same thing for Y, you get 10%. Alright. Now let's go to how to calculate standard deviation. Alright. The formula to calculate standard deviation is the following. If you know the probabilities, alright. So you have first you get the variance equal to, variance is equal to the probability P1 in the first outcome times the return in the first outcome minus the expected return, alright, plus square, plus you do this for the second outcome, P2 times R2 minus expected return, square, plus so on until the last outcome, which is Pn times Rn minus expected return, square. Right, so P1, which is probability 0.2 times the return in the first outcome, which is negative 20, minus expected return, which is 20, square, plus P2, which is 0.5 times 18 minus 20 square, plus the last outcome, which is 0.3 times Rn, which is 50 minus 20 square. Alright, so the answer is so the variance, the answer of the variance is equal to equal to 592. Okay, and so this is for stock X. So the variance is 592. So the standard deviation is square root of 592. Alright, and equal to 23%. Alright, and you do the same thing for stock Y. You get the standard deviation is 23%. Assume that you have $10,000. You invest 9,000 in X and 1,000 in Y. What is the return of your portfolio? So your portfolio has X and Y. Okay, X $9,000, Y $1,000. So the total money you have is $10,000. So what it means is the weight of X is 90%, 0.9, and the weight of Y is 10%. So the return of your portfolio would be, expected return of your portfolio would be 0.9 times the return of X we calculated before, which is 20, plus the return, the weight of Y, which is 0.1 times the return of Y, which is 10% we calculated before. Alright, and the whole thing is equal 19%. Now number 27 to number 29, assume that you manage a risky you manage a risky portfolio with an expected return of 18.6 and standard deviation of 28.2. TBO rate is 6%, and if your client choose to invest, okay. So number 27, right, number 27. If your client choose to invest 65, so you have complete portfolio C, is a combination for the client portfolio is a combination of TBO, all right, and the risky portfolio B that has expected return equal to 18.6, and the standard deviation is equal to 28.2. okay, TBO rate RF is equal to 6. Alright, so if you put this is portfolio P, so if you put Y% here, 1 minus Y will go to here. Alright, so if you decide to invest 65%, okay, if Y equal to 65%, 0.65, so what it means is 1 minus Y equal to 35. So expected return of the client portfolio ERC would be equal 0.65 times 18.6 plus 1 minus Y, which is 0.35 times 6, and this is equal to 14.2. okay, and sigma C is equal to Y, which is 0.65 times sigma P, which is 28.2, and this is equal to 18.3. So what it means is if you choose to invest 65% into portfolio P here, your return would be 14.2 and your risk would be 18.3%. okay, standard deviation. Number 28, suppose your risky portfolio includes stock A, B, C. What is the proportion of the your overall portfolio? So so your overall portfolio is the following. okay, you have TBO. okay, you have TBO, which is how many percent? It is 35% TBO. Alright, use 35% TBO, and the remaining is portfolio P. So portfolio P you have 65%, but in portfolio P you have 3 stock, okay, A, B, and C, and the stock A accounts for 29% in P. So the proportion of A in the overall portfolio is equal to 0.29 times 65% and equal to 18.8%. okay, the proportion of stock B is 0.39, okay, 0.39 right here, times the proportion of portfolio P in the overall portfolio, which is 65%. okay, and this is equal to 25.4%. portfolio C in the proportion in portfolio P is 32, so 0.32, alright, times 65%, and this equal to 20.8%. okay, so this is your overall portfolio: 35% in TBO, 18.8 in A, 25.4 in B, and 20.8 in C, and the sum of all A, B, and C would be equal to 65%. Alright. What is the reward to variability ratio? Okay, reward to variability ratio, it is basically it is a Sharpe ratio. okay, the Sharpe ratio equal to the expected return, alright, minus the risk-free rate over standard deviation. Right, for the portfolio P, Okay, for the portfolio P, the Sharpe ratio would be equal to portfolio P, it is 18.6 minus risk-free rate 6 over standard deviation 28.2 and equal to 0.4468. So what it means is for 1 unit of risk standard deviation you have about 0.4468% risk premium. For the client portfolio C, the return is 14.19. We calculated before. Okay, the return is 14.19 right here, for 14.2, right? Either 14.2 or 14.19 minus risk-free rate 6 over the standard deviation 18.33 we get from before, and also equal to 0.4468, right? Now number 30, assume that you manage a risky portfolio with the right, so assume that you manage a risky portfolio with the expected return of 14 and standard deviation of 22. So your complete portfolio is a combination of T-bill again that has risk-free rate equal to 5.7% and portfolio P that has expected return is equal to 14 and the standard deviation equal to 22%. Alright, suppose that as a client you want to have the return ERC, okay, equal to basically equal to 13.17%. Alright, see that you want to have 13, he wants to have 13.17%. So you solve equation y times ERP, which is 14 plus 1 minus y times times RF, RF which is what RF which is 5.7. Okay, so you solve this equation, you will get y equal to 90%. So you have to put 90% into portfolio P and 10% you put in T-bill. Okay. Now, what is the investor proportion in the overall portfolio? So you have T-bill originally is 10% here, okay, and you have 3 stock A, B, and C. Okay, the proportion of A is 29%. Okay, given at the beginning. See that A, the proportion is in the portfolio P is 29%. So it is equal to 29%, which is 0.29 times 90% of portfolio P in the overall portfolio, so equal to 26.1%. B, it is equal to 0.37 or 37% in portfolio P, and times the proportion of portfolio P, which is 90%, and this is equal to 33.3. For stock C, it is equal to 0.34 times 90%, and this is equal to 30.6%. Alright, so you have 10% in T-bill, 26.1 in A, 33.3 in B, and 30.6 in C. Now, question C, what is the standard deviation of your client portfolio? Alright, so you can have the standard deviation of the client portfolio, sigma C equal y times sigma P. So sigma C basically equal y equal to 90%, and the standard deviation of the portfolio P is 22. It is equal to 19.8. Alright, standard deviation of portfolio P is 22% given at the beginning. See that given at the beginning right here. Okay, 22%. See that 22% right here. Standard deviation of portfolio P is 22%. Alright. And last question, a portfolio pay of non-dividend paying stock earns geometric return of 5% between, okay, this is January, okay, January 1 2003, okay, and December 31 2009. Okay, so how many years is this? This is the beginning of the year 2003, this is the ending of the year 2009, so you have, yeah, this year 0, so you have total um, 7 years. Alright, so you have 7 years total from beginning of 03 to end of 09, so you have 7 years. And at the beginning of the year you have $100,000, and the question is how much you have at the end if your return per year. Now when you want to calculate how much you have at the end, you have to use the geometric return every year. Okay, so how many percent return you have every year. So that is the geometric return, which is 5%. Okay, so you have future value here, it would be equal $100,000 times 1 plus the interest rate, or the return is 5%, 0.05 raised to the power 7. Okay, and this is equal to 140,710.04. Okay, alright, so let me know if you have any question. Okay, and I think you should be able to do the homework after reviewing the the problem set. Alright, thank you very much. Bye bye.